Ms. Johnson, what does this slide say?
Marriage requires a shared mission.
Come on, come on. You know, like how they're talking about all this conflict happening in the Middle East. The soldiers are not the issue. The soldiers are there to follow the instructions that were given by their higher ups. And that's why when you look at military formations or those of us who have been exposed to military type situations, or even if you read the book Sun Tzu, The Art of War, it's nothing but strategy. It's a book of strategy. It's not a book of fighting. It's not a book of, it's about strategy, about what type of mission are you on and how are you allowing yourself to navigate accordingly. So if you are on two different missions in a marriage, that's a problem. I can tell you that marriage is not going to work. It has nothing to do with love. Because love is the foundation that brought you together. Now, all of a sudden, when you're saying that this is the woman that's going to have my children, or this is the man that's going to father my children, I'm going to be in this foxhole of life with, because stuff will happen. The missiles will fly, the bullets will fly past, the pitfalls, the potentialities, all this other stuff. But you survive all that to get into all the great stuff. What mission are we on? Nah, my mission's over here because I gotta look good, I gotta smell good, and I got Is that part of the mission? Because if that means that we're going to be always in perpetual brokenness, we don't have a shared vision, and we definitely don't have a shared mission. So you start to understand, as some of these bubble points are bringing to bear, is that why are we building? Mission gives purpose to every financial decision and keeps your efforts unified, as you can see by the image to the left. Unified. I didn't say perfect. I didn't say sometimes that you can be unified and y'all can make a decision that does not work. So are we going to do fight about it? Or recognize, were we in agreement when we decided to move in this particular direction? It did not work. Okay, what was the lesson that we garnered from that? Okay, we could have did this differently. We could have did that differently. Okay, we still got something out of it. Okay, you learned something. So it was still a blessing. Now you don't desire to be stuck in that blessing where it becomes just in perpetuity. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, you're not replenishing yourself, but you keep giving out. That don't work. You have to take the time and rest to be like, wait a minute, I need to be in recreation. Some of you out there say recreation, but recreation so that I have something to keep pouring back out into others. If I don't recreate, I'm pouring from an empty jug. That's like giving from an empty wallet. We gotta keep spending. We gotta keep circulating. We already know spending to me is a sin. You should be circulating your dollars. Why are you spending? Why are you spending? Spending already has the word in it, ending. But when you circulate, you're recognizing you're making those definitive choices and you're taking the responsibility like, wait a minute, I'm responsible for what it is that I have the capacity that's in my reach. What am I supposed to be doing with this? Building it up. You know my trademark term. We love some pregnant money. Your money's supposed to go out to go work and come back with more dollars. That's the only thing that you would desire that's under your responsibility. That if it goes out and comes back with more, you don't sit there and get mad at the money. Money, when you came back here with more money, you sit there and say thank you. What you gonna do with that? You gonna go out there and spend, or you gonna recognize like, okay, all of you who came back, let me send the majority of y'all back out there and go keep working in fields, working those ideas, working those investments. And lo and behold, sugar, they come back even more pregnant. Be like, you're not mad. Wait a minute, there's a lot of multiplication happening there, not addition, a lot of multiplying there when you're investing. So your mission is very, very important about the why. we are doing what we're doing. Next one, who are we serving? Understanding your impact beyond yourselves bring clarity to priorities. Now we're talking about your philanthropic space. Now we're talking about your service. Now we're talking about those things that you're willing to give to other people, not just looking for some sort of substance or sustenance, but you recognize that you can't outgive God. And when you do certain things from a space of philanthropic, when you do certain things from a space of saying that you're giving up charity, it's like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? I understand. Yo, just hold that. Or when we hear about, the whole point of giving alms is not you give alms so everyone can see me as I give this person who's less fortunate than me something. That's not alms. Now you're just showing out to play yourself. But when you recognize, like, wait a minute, even when you give alms, or the corners, as they would say, leave the corners for those that are a little bit less fortunate. Not that you're belittling them, but you're recognizing there was probably at one point that was you. And you honor that. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I gave this person this and God blessed me over here, or this opportunity opened up over here. Oh yeah, I went and spoke to some young men over here, and they were able to see, yeah, you can get out, eventually you can get out of a particular situation or whatever it is that you're dealing with at the moment. And you can be here. And all of a sudden I get a contract over here, or I get a possibility over here, and I get some more resources over there. Because I was in the space of recognizing that when you serve people, it's not always about the dollar. You're serving just for the dollar, oof, you're hireling. Playing a small game. Very small game. Now you're choosing to be small. Listen to my words clearly and confidently. You are choosing to play small. But when you start moving and recognizing that you're here to play a very big game, as we said, Henry Ford was one of the greatest examples. A man with a third or fourth grade education who died a billionaire. Why? Because as I said, he had a third or fourth grade education initially. But because of his ingenuity, because of his ability, and marrying the right woman, there's a lot of things when you really delve into the story. Marrying the right woman, he has a legacy that people are still driving around in vehicles that bear his name to this very second. So yes, it still goes back to marriage and your covenant and who it is that you're deciding to have a mission with. What must outlive us? Legacy thinking transforms temporary choices into eternal investments. How many darn bags? And see, and I can and see, and this is where I love this point because I can even speak about myself. Because even though I am an extreme sneakerhead, I'm not going to front. I got shoes all over the place. Some of the individuals who are probably here live during this respect today have been to my home and have seen my collection. Yes, it's massive. But then after a while, you start to recognize you can continue to be in that space where you're circulating your dollars in those particular ventures. You're saying, well, unless I'm I'm selling sneakers or sneaker broker, or you start to recognize after a while, you can take some of those same resources. If I'm willing to buy some Jordans, let me go invest in Nike. Or invest in that particular company. Oh, I have these things in my house that, we use only this particular soap. Let me find out the company about that. Yeah, we go to the store and we see the prices are where they are. It's like, okay, I'm taking some of these same dollars. I'm going to go invest in the company. It is a reason why this company is still on this shelf and people are willing to purchase this product. So why not just be a consumer when I can be an investor? Now you're starting to think legacy. You still have the responsibility. You still have to eat. You still have to wash your behind. You still have to do all the things that come in life so you can present yourself as a well-oiled vessel when you go out there into the marketplace. But are you making the necessary investments happen around you, or are you still stuck as a consumer? And if that's not part of your mission, you may have one person's like, yo, we can do certain things. And it's not that having a budget is limiting. It's starting to recognize what can we do with the resources that we have. And if we are working together on the same mission, we start to understand how impactful and powerful we can become. How something that seems like it's small at one point, if it's done on a consistent basis with some compound interest, woo-wee. We dealt with that story a couple of sessions back where that janitor who ended up dying a multi-millionaire. They kept saying, oh, Joe, it's over there with that mop. We can talk about Joe. We can talk about these investments and stuff like that. That's just Joe. He's over there emptying our garbage cans. He's there. Joe been with us all this time. That's just Joe. Yeah, keep talking. Not recognizing Joe was a smart brother. Oh, and he took some of his money. He kept hearing what these people were saying, and he kept implementing. That's why application is the key. If you're part of this comeback collective circle, it's about applying these things. It's not about just hearing it and say, oh, that's great. Great share, great dialogue, great teacher. No, it's about what can you utilize to apply in your respective life? Because if you don't apply it, that still becomes a part of the pedagogy of repression. Because it's like, oh, I heard all these great things and got that moment of shucking job. And it's like, okay, now what did you do that impacted your life or impacted your community or impacted your legacy? So application is 2,000% important. And finally, for this slide, without mission, spending, which is to me another curse word, becomes emotional. Saving becomes fearful, and giving becomes inconsistent. Mission gives money its assignment. Ooh, you mean to tell me I'm supposed to assign my money? I'm supposed to give my money direction? We, as the two individuals working in concert with each other, are supposed to be shaping the mission statement of this particular family, regardless if you're married, couple, partnership, whatever distinction you desire to call it. Because we know we got generations nowadays that, regardless of we think just because of what we did, we have to recognize and respect that we still have to guide them. But if there's no mission into the reason why y'all are together, and it's just to look good, after a while, what happens when the looks start to disappear? Or the BBL gets ugly? Or just the clicks and likes disappear? What you gonna do then? Because gravity is perfect. Gravity works on all of us. Father time, Mother Nature, however you want to express it or call it forth, is undefeated. What you gonna do? Now, if you have the right mission and you've been being consistent in the things that are happening around you, you start to recognize, wait a minute, not only is my family blessed and fruitful, but we built a legacy. We got stuff not only for us, but I've left for my children's children. Oh, okay. I guess we was on the proper mission. And we all have the opportunity to be on the proper mission if we so choose to allow ourselves to manifest through that. Any thoughts? Any comments before we move on to the next slide? Go ahead, Mr. Richards.
Yeah, Dr. Clarke, first of all, congratulations, you and Dr.
Appreciate
Joe.
that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Normally what I look at is mostly the young people. And when two young people get married and they're not, let's say, industrious, they mostly rent an apartment. And the money they invest, because like you have here, a mission gives money an assignment. The money invested, it just goes back to the consumer. I mean, to the person that, is renting the house. But, most of the time you could advise them is like invest into a property. Because when you invest into property, both you all are, say, for instance, investing into that that part, and eventually becomes yours because it is no more or less when you're paying a person, but you're investing in something that is going to have like a legacy or something that is left behind that the unit is able to they're able to come together and share it together. And I'm complete.
Thank you for that. Ms. Johnson, what's your thought on this as, coming from, I believe you're a millennial. What would your thought pattern be on this as coming from that perspective?
Well, I am at the very end holding on for dear life for Gen X. So I don't quite understand
Okay.
the
Oh,
millennial
good. So
perspective.
that's okay. Now I get it. Okay. Now I get it.
Yeah, so for me, it's like a balancing act to
Okay.
see which is better and finding like-minded individuals to build.
Hmm.
So, along with building a mission doesn't get built in 5 days and we're like, yeah, go. That's
Mm.
how you end up in our current world conflicts. It takes
Mm.
time, maturity, and making sure that you have found the right battle buddies
Mm.
because you want it to be a long-term solution.
Mm.
And I'm complete.
Excellent. I like that. Find the right battle buddies. Yeah, because when that foxhole happens, like they're saying, this epic fury that they keep talking about, and the inconsistency and the lack, and you know what? As a caveat, before we go to the next slide, this is so funny. And the reason why I say it's funny because this is where you recognize when people said, I remember I've had mentors in my life say, God is never mocked. A man and how he moves will always come up to the surface. And it shows the lack of inconsistency, proper preparation, proper thought patterns, and all kind of stuff that you can see. There's a lot of stuff that's emotional. There's certain people in certain offices that's supposed to be responsible for people show themselves not to be responsible for people, with no end game in sight, with no recognition. If I do this, these costs can be impacted. Wait a minute now. Or the inconsistency of word. See, when your word is shot, and I talked about that earlier, word is bond. And we do have a person who's residing currently in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue that has no word. He had no word when he was in New York, a New Yorker, which we can go back to the 70s with some of the BS he did, to the fact that we were happy to say, okay, you no longer desire to be a New Yorker, let Florida deal with you. But we know, from the Central Park Five, we know your aspects. We know your ignorance. We know how you attempted just to be in a space so you can maneuver. And even how high society up here in the very upper crust always played you and didn't respect you. So there's a lot of things that keeps moving. But you can see all these things that come up in a character of a person. Of what is the character of a man, but it's no character is male or female. Your character, your mindset will come up to the surface and will show who you are as an individual. Are you someone who cares about people? That's leadership, that's service. See, everyone can get a title. Getting the title is easy. We see that happening as much as what's going on there in Washington, D.C. Some of these senators don't have half the intellectual capacity, but somehow they had other people in wherever they came from, whatever state they came from, that positioned them with a mission. You just keep taking care of O's. They have a shared vision, a shared mission. And at times, if you don't look like them or not align with them, you start to shake your head like, oh, we see. This is a different type of scenario that's going on here. And you have to be wise enough not to be caught up in that, but wise enough to say, oh, no. I'm still going to persevere. I'm still going to keep moving and going forward. And I'm going to build this legacy. Regardless of where you think I should be. Because it feels wonderful at times when people can pull up in a certain vehicle and say, oh, I didn't expect that from you. It's good. Excellent. I hope to keep disappointing you or making you feel emotionally disturbed. Because some of us are not going anywhere. We're not minimizing ourselves because we are on a mission. So recognize that. So now I'm going to get off my soapbox. We're going to go on to, I believe we have one more slide for tonight. Roles without rivalry. Let me say that again. Because sometimes we can get caught up in even gender-based situations that you end up shooting yourself in the foot. If that woman is better with money, put that money in that woman's hand because she's supposed to be there to help multiply you. Please, for the love of God. Stop your ego from edging God out. I'm the man. I'm going to. Negro, sit your down. And vice versa. If the man is the one who in that particular relationship or coupling and partnership is the one that understands how to navigate certain things, we can get to this particular point. Okay. Now, this is where the submissiveness comes in, not to be submissive from what you may have think that, okay, the man is there to control the woman. No, submissiveness shows your power. Okay, there's something where you can be the pearls and you can be the ability to turn the neck of the king. That's submission. But that submission ends up being in power and authority. So even that word, sometimes we get that thing misconstrued and people, I ain't gonna be no submissive to the man. So, okay, right there. That's why you're alone. Why am I alone? Because you're not submissive. I didn't say submissive to be subservient. I said submissive to recognize what are we doing together. Just like there are certain things as a man, I'm not subservient to my wife. I'm submissive to my wife. There are certain things. My wife, Dr. Clarke, says certain things about a certain situation. I know I may not be as skilled as her. I know how to back up and allow her to go to the forefront. Why? Because she's still an extension and representation of me. Dummy. No, I'm the man. Come here. We need to pull you to the side. You need to invest in some coaching sessions because you ain't thinking straight. You're messing yourself. You're playing in your ego, which is simply edging God out. And ego has screwed up a lot more people. People think money is not the root of all evil. Ego is. Because ego will lead you into turning money, and you start loving money, and now that's ego based. Instead of recognizing, wait a minute, you're not supposed to have love of money. You are supposed to have as much money as possible, as humanly possible, and as much that you can produce out there in the world. But you're recognizing it is a tool. Don't fall in love with the tool. Now, when you love source, that's power. You don't love the tool. You don't put the tool, and that's where when you look at the scripture, and people at times may have used that scripture as a reference point or as a point to emphasize certain things, but God never told anyone to be poor for their life, to live in piety. Who told you that lie? If that's the case, the Catholic Church, which is the number one landowner globally, so that means why they're the number one landowner. Crickets. So we understand. When you don't put the tool above source, then you rocking out correctly. You recognizing your space and the place and things, and he's like, okay, you're honoring and this, that, and the third, and you're philanthropic and this, that, and the third, and you're still building your legacy. You're still coming back with the pregnant money, and you're still being a blessing. You're still helping those that's less than fortunate and this, that, and the third. I'm utilizing the tool for what the tool is for. Not to fall in love with it. That's stupidity. That just shows that, okay, you playing a small game. You are a consumer. You are consumed by the fact that you are looking at money as something that you have to have. Because I need to look good. I need to impress people. I need that validation. So the dynasty principle in marriage, equal value, distinct roles, and shared governance. That's why it's so important for the woman to find the right man that's willing to change her name and to build a legacy with and say, okay, your name was Johnson, but now it's Clarke. And now what are we doing with that? Not just responding, I married her and I renamed her. Okay, now you have a big responsibility. You took her from that family. Or said that you were going to create something because now you two have become one. There's a level of responsibility on both parts, not just on the man, but on the woman. And if there's no shared level of responsibility to say, oh my goodness, how are we doing this? Now, ultimately, somebody has to be a decision maker. And there are times, like even in my relationship with Dr. Cheryl, there's so many decisions that I've made, but there are still so many decisions that Dr. Shaw has made on behalf of the family. Because nobody wins if the family loses. So the reason why we have to be responsible enough to recognize the equal value and the power of these two individuals coming together to say, this is what we are building. This is what we are manifesting. Is everything going to always work? Hell no. Do you desire to have more good situations occur than bad situations? Of course. That's why you're in business. Nobody desires to be in business. That's why anyone who's in business, you're not in business to lose money. If you're in business to lose money, then we need to go find you a position where, because you're not an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is about recognizing I got these resources, how do I multiply them? And then not to become a spendthrift and just worry about to still be a consumer. It's like, okay, I got a whole bunch of resources. What do I do with it? Go put it back out there to work. Oh my God, I put that money back out there to work. And now it came back with even more. So what do? You put that money back out there to work. Then all of a sudden you start to multiply yourself from an employee standpoint. You start to multiply yourself probably in what you're building in your legacy and family. And now all of a sudden, especially if you're building something that ends up to being an enterprise, now you're taking care of other people's families as well, which is a blessing. But it all comes by to that principle. So what are y'all two doing? Becomes a greater picture that we don't just look at marriage as something that, you know what I'm saying, I can have legal sex and, have someone that I can, boss around and all. No, that's not marriage. Marriage is, who did you find that you can build a life with? That I can be on the same mission with, that I can be in that same foxhole with. And if I found that person, regardless, as Mr. Wayne Richards stated, that we started off in an apartment, we ended up in this particular level of home. Yeah, we started there. We didn't stay there. That shows growth and evolution. That shows there was some sort of mission statement that worked. That showed that there were some possibilities that we were congruent in our movements. And then we made these choices to have these kids and, have those times and have that expression and expansion of family through multiplication. And all of a sudden, oh my God, now, how do we start to get them to understand what we understand and start grooming and start preparing? So eventually, when gravity wins, here's the baton, take it and run with it. So order protects intimacy. One spouse may manage the details while the other stewards the vision, but both govern together. This isn't about hierarchy, it's about harmony and the relational truth. Control creates resistance. Agreement creates peace. See, I know I am a man who, as Dr. Shaw has alluded to, I'm not the rah-rah person. I know where my background is. I know the streets that I came off of and things of that nature. I'm the one, when you hear me get rah-rah, that's what even Dr. Cheryl knows. Dr. Cheryl's like, I'm here the one to calm you down. Because if I'm in the space where I'm getting to the point to being all that loud and, expressive, there's a problem. That's not necessary. That's not my nature. But if I have to go there, then that's not a beautiful sight. And so when I look at that relational truth, control creates resistance. When you try to be controlling, that's regardless of if it's the female to the male or the male to the female, that doesn't work. That shows how small you're playing of a life. You think so small of yourself that you're attempting to control another. Oh, she better do what I gotta do. He better do what I tell him to do. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. No wonder there's no peace in this relationship. There's no agreement. Y'all at odds because y'all trying to figure out whose drawers are bigger, whose panties are bigger. And we wasting energy on that. But we're on the same mission. You start to understand, it's like, oh, look, we're working together so we both look good, that we both generate, that we both are in the same mission, that we're both seeing these resources grow. We both are experiencing some level of pregnant money, and we're sending money back out there to work, and we're taking care of our kids, and our kids are being even more responsible, and they're becoming, greater stewards and possibilities to what we started. And all of a sudden, it just becomes a wonderful thing. So if you start to look at certain aspects of your life and you see that I have to have control, okay, got it. That just shows at times how little control you do have. Because you have to be controlling. We have to really start to really delve into your psyche and your mindset, why you have to be controlling. But when you create those different navigational spaces of agreement, like a Henry Ford did, yeah, his name was on each car. Yeah, he created the Model T. But yeah, he was wise enough to say, wait a minute, I need assistance. I need other people to be in agreement with what is in my head. And if we can put this into some sort of form of system, not only do I benefit, but I have the opportunity to offer possibilities and opportunities to others. Which shows that means I'm amplifying myself because I'm multiplying my efforts. Same principle can happen in a marriage. But most times we have not been taught or positioned to be that way. Nobody wins if the family is divided. No one. With that being said, I am complete for tonight. Any thoughts? Lines are open, please.
God bless you, Dr. Greg.
God bless you, Bishop Bolton. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. This has been really, really excellent. Thank you. I'm glad I had the opportunity tonight. I actually work from home today, and so I was able to hop on. I look for future opportunities. So many things that you spoke about. Really just was a reminder for me, and some things were even new. But how that unity though. How that unity brings about multiplication, and it's a math that you don't really understand. And I remember, way back when I talked to my wife about just being more united in the finances and how it would multiply, and she was like, "Well, doesn't one plus one equals one?" Not really, not really when you're unified, and even when you spoke about, you know. Uh, the first person on earth was a man that was pregnant, and he brought the woman from his rib. God brought the woman from his rib, but not as somebody that was less than, but someone that is sufficient. And you hit so many powerful things tonight, and I thank you for just your wisdom, and thank you for just being consistent with this with this movement you have going on. I think it's very powerful, and many more people need to know about it because you're talking about real stuff. You're talking about grown man stuff. you know, this is grown, and if you ain't grown, if you take heed and like you said, apply it, you will be a grown man. And so it's been a blessing to me. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. Mr. Sampson, Mr. Legacy Chat, make sure you go subscribe to his channel. I think he got a new episode dropping this week. Mr. Sampson, how's everything with you, sir? Well, any thoughts about today?
Well, you can hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, good. Just always receiving the jewels that you share. No particular thoughts, definitely just acknowledging the wisdom. And there's definitely power in unity. And, division definitely, breaks the foundation. So you need unity for the multiplication. I like that. I like the conversation about multiplication as opposed to addition. That was pretty powerful. And I want to say happy anniversary to you and the other Dr. Clarke. Happy anniversary. And thanks for sacrificing to be with us today on your special day. But no, just thank you for your faithfulness, like my brother shared, and consistency, and just keep it coming. And I'm honored to be with you this evening.
Excellent. Appreciate you. Mr. Franklin, any thoughts? Mr. Franklin, any thoughts? See, if I'm not mistaken, that could...
I don't have any thoughts right now.
Oh, that's good. Just desire to hear your voice, make sure it was in the space. And if that is Miss Franklin, who just celebrated a birthday, happy birthday to her. I'm happy that she was able to jump in and listen in. And I think I saw Mr. Guthrie here. So yeah, Mr. Guthrie. Oh, my big sister, not my little sister. Let me hear what my big sister had to say. Let's see if Miss Karen Clarke can open up her mic. Hopefully she's in the area where she can allow herself to open up her mic. Big sister, you good? Just doing my check-in.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Guthrie. Appreciate the vibes on our anniversary. And so I can respect people's time because people got things to do. STDs. When someone say STD, don't look at them like they telling you have some sort of disease. You have stuff to do. And we all have STDs. And when we start to recognize how to be much more dynamic in how we utilize our energy is very beneficial for us to be not only forthright, but you start to respect energy and then you respect the energy of others. And so,
Dr. Clarke,
go ahead, Ms.
missed
Johnson.
a hand. I believe Bishop Bolton had his hand up.
Go ahead, Mr. Bolton. Thought we got him a little earlier.
No, I wanted to say one more thing. A lot of what you were talking about in marriage, in leading and being a leader in your marriage, a lot of the things that you spoke about from a man's point of view, it takes what you were really talking about is humility. It's really humility, and what better way? I personally believe that when it comes to marriage or any other space, but I'm specifically talking about marriage, there's no better way to lead than lead with humility. That and that's a lot of what you were talking about tonight. Even when you talked about, if your bride or your spouse is better at certain things, let her handle that piece or let him handle that piece, and some things she'll take the lead on, or some things he'll take the lead on, and that takes humility, and also takes you understanding who you are, and humility is really understanding who you are in God, not in and of yourself. And so, all of those things were, like I said, really valuable tools tonight. Once again, I'm glad I hopped on. So I'll decrease at this point.
No problem, sir. Thank you for that nugget.
Dr. Clarke.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Richards.
Unity is strength, right? And I look at I just one thought I have is love in marriage, right, is like a horse and carriage, and you cannot do without one another. And I'm just complete.
Excellent. I thought we was about to go into the Married with Children songs. No, let me stop. Because no album, we're not doing no Al Bundyisms here. No. We're staying here in the current, not just going back to what we did as a youth. And so, once again, to support the platform, if you're looking for some good artificial intelligence tools, yes, artificial intelligence is here. Please don't run away from it. Please don't dig your head in the sand. Please don't act like things are not navigating and moving in the technological spaces around us. We must be aware as a community. And so this particular platform, Galaxy.ai, has a plethora of tools that you can utilize, and it can help you with your workflow, can help you with business content. If you're looking to build something in your respective life, you'll be surprised of how much time you can start to get back when you're willing to make the investment in yourself. So the affiliate link here is galaxy.ai/ref equals Gregory. Click that link or save that link in your browser. That will allow you to be a blessing to the platform as well. And finally, as we are about to go for the evening, these are the respective ways that you can support the Comeback Collective Circle. If you desire to do it via Cash App, you can do it at $ Gregory Clarke D Min. If you have Venmo, you choose to do it by Venmo, just drop the $. It's the same thing, Gregory Clarke D Min. And for those of you who desire to do it by Zelle or PayPal, same email address, esquire971@gmail.com. And with that being said, so everyone can have a fabulous week ahead to come. Enjoy this Holy Week. Enjoy the thought that Palm Sunday started one thing, but 7 days later, there was a different choice. And we thank God for the opportunity to move in a space of fulfillment. And we all have the ability to fulfill in our lives, to manifest in our lives, and just to be as powerful as we so choose to be. Remember, you always have a choice. Don't look at it as like this person said this or that person said that. Who cares what they said? What are you saying? And if you're choosing to say the right things, remember, what you speak to your enemy is going to come out of you. So if you're not willing to develop your enemy, don't say that you have enemies outside of you, because the real enemy is your enemy. So develop that mindset. Allow yourself to be in a space of application. Keep growing and flowing. And until next week, where we'll be in the second part of this teaching, since we are in this anniversary season. This is Dr. Gregory Clarke Sr. saying, not so long, but I'll see you soon. And every single individual in the Comeback Collective Circle, please, love of God, have an excellent week. And see you next time.
Peace and blessing all.
Good night.
Good night,
Be
everyone.
blessed.
Good night. God bless.